Everybody, welcome back to Kruse Control. It is Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. Thank you for being here on Kruse Control, the home of entertainment news. I am your host, Brian Kruse, joining you again here tonight. Thank you for being here as always. And back here in the studio from Florida is Miss Sabrina Vittori. Welcome back, Sabrina. How you doing tonight? Welcome back.
Hi, thank you for having me. I am doing wonderful. Thank you for asking.
How have you been? We haven't seen you in a couple days.
I know. I'm sorry. Work has not permitted me to be here for a couple days, but things are going great, and I'm grateful to be back.
Well, it's good to see you again. Happy Hump Day, right? Happy Hump
Yes,
Day. Here we go.
Happy Hump Day.
And also
it's my
joining
first day
us
off in 7 days, so I'm super jazzed about Hump Day. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
we gotta keep it going.
Very enthusiastic introduction. I apologize.
And also joining us back on the program is Lexi. Lexi, welcome back. How you doing tonight?
Good. Hi. I'm here.
Hey.
It's me, Lexi. I'm back.
How have you been, Lexi? How's life?
Good. Things are going all right. Ups
You're
and
looking
downs.
great tonight. I love the ears. I
Thank you.
always love the ears when I see them.
Me too.
They're stick-ons.
They're I didn't know that. They're stick-ons.
I'm gonna have to get some. They're adorable.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us again. It's fun to have you here. We love talking and having a great time talking about the news. So as always, let's just dive into it because now it's time for some breaking news. All right, everybody, we're going to dive right in. The first thing I want to talk about is Beavis and Butthead. All right, Beavis and Butthead is coming back for its second season on Paramount Plus, and it's like,
Nice.
and they all, it's they already did like how many? Yeah, they did like, was it March 8th, 93 till like 97 they did the original series, 7 seasons, but you know, they're getting some more on Paramount Plus. It's a pretty cool thing that they get to do this some more. Apparently they signed up initially to do 2 seasons, but it's coming back. They're going to have 2 episodes debuting on Thursday, April 20th, and then they're going to, come out after that every other week. So every week, I should say.
420. Woo!
420, yeah. You get some Beavis and Butthead on some 420. You know,
Yes,
you can
please.
you can enjoy.
Can't think of
sit
a
on that
better
couch.
time for them to debut than on 420.
Are you threatening me?
That was actually a very good Beavis.
It was.
I can do
The
Beavis.
impressions.
Boing, that's all I got. But if you're a fan of Beavis and Butthead, they're coming back. It's huge for them. I bet they're loving having this resurgence and having an opportunity to come back. They don't have MTV anymore, so they make fun of reality TV now instead, which is only appropriate.
Yeah,
I think.
Very
They got
natural.
TikTok and all that they make fun of on the new show. My thing with the new show is I was a fan of everything. This is one of my favorite series. I'm a huge Beavis and Butthead fan, so I'm okay with it as long as Mike Judge has a hand on it. And so far, he's been doing a really good job with the new series. I'm not so big on the time travel story that they did and bringing them to the present, the young ones. But I am completely in love with all of the old 40-year-old Beavis and Butthead stuff.
Yeah.
Those have been top tier. Like, those, they should have just done the whole series with that. That would have been a much more up my alley. Because I'm like, that's what I'm here for. But I'm still here for it. I'm like excited. So,
I tend to agree with you, honestly. I really do. Like my art folder, like when I was in high school, like they were like, just draw something on your art folder that you like. And my art folder is literally Beavis and Butthead. And and like that is literally like it's Beavis and Butthead, and then like the words of and that is my art folder, and I actually think that it is one of my greatest works. Like it is so accurate and so spot on, and it represented like my my infatuation at the time. It was so fucking funny, like and it still rings true today. Like I think
I love To America.
hilarious.
That was a great movie too.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that in the theater with my friends when it came out. It's such a big deal. Rachel
Great
basically
music.
lives with Butthead, so
Yeah.
Well, Sabrina lives with Beavis.
There you go.
Anyways,
Apparently, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that, but now I do.
That's so funny.
Still learning things after 7 years. Wait, hold on, wait.
Yeah.
Are you threatening me?
I am Cornholio.
Yeah.
I can't do it as good as Brian, so I'm gonna stop. But
Lots of years being Beavis, I guess.
Steve, my bungle.
I sense a Halloween costume coming very soon.
Okay, Sabrina, you can be Butthead, I'll be Beavis. Here we go. Something else that's coming out is called The Residence, everybody. So The Residence is going to be a new show for Netflix. It's got Randall Park signed on, and it's going to also have Spencer Garrett as a reoccurring role. And this is a drama that's a murder mystery drama. So apparently it takes place in the White House, so I think it's kind of interesting. So they're doing 8-episode series. It's described as a screwball whodunit set in the upstairs, downstairs, and the backstairs of the White House, among the eclectic staff of the world's most famous mansion. And the premise is you have 132 rooms, 157 suspects, and one dead body, one wildly eccentric detective, and one disastrous state dinner. So it's coming to Netflix, 8 episodes. I think this sounds kind of fun. I think it could be interesting to actually, because usually they do the White House stuff. It's, it's very much just, it's just a typical formulaic White House. We're in the Oval Office, like the president. We got the typical, House of Cards stuff. This will be like a little different, comedy wise. This should be fun. I think so. Lexi, you think it'll be kind of good? Are you excited about this, or what do you think? Yeah.
I don't get very excited about American political stuff. I don't. Rachel will probably watch this. This seems like it's much more up her alley kind of thing. I'm not really into this kind of thing, so it's not really for me.
I feel like it
Rachel says
like
Brian for Beavis. Brian for Beavis.
Honestly, I agree. That's your best impression I've seen.
Maybe. I try a lot. A lot of them don't work.
You do a very good Dane Cook impression, but on the show, I think Beavis is your reigning champion right now.
It's gotta be organic when I'm doing the Dane Cook. I can't be put in the spot for that one, but I have fun with the Dane Cook one too.
It's so good, honestly.
Does he end it by hooking up with a 17-year-old girl?
Oh, gee.
No, thank goodness.
It's not good. It's not good.
The pacing though down. I'm like, if you just do background crosses while you do it, it's gonna be amazing. Honestly, just do background crosses and talk and be out of breath, and then do what he does. It's honestly so good. I'm like, just pace around. You have the best Dane Cook. He's like, I don't know how relevant it is. I'm like, well,
yeah, I don't know how relevant
it is for marrying a 12-year-old, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be relevant again very soon. They'll probably have a baby soon. He'll resurge. It will happen.
Maybe. Somebody else that's resurging again, because I think he's never really gone anywhere, is Ted Danson. So he's so great. So he's doing a new Netflix show. It's going to be with Mike Schumer, who also did The Good Place. So they're working together again. So this is going to be something that's limited series. And they haven't really announced what it's going to be called, but it's based off a documentary called The Mole Agent. And this Mole Agent, it's a Chilean documentary where a PI hires an elderly man, Sergio, to go undercover in a nursing home to investigate a client's claim that her mother has been mistreated by staff. No, it's based on this, but it's different. So it's that's the premise of the documentary. But this premise is going to be now a retired man instead. A retired man gets a new lease of life when he answers an old PI friend, and he becomes a mole in this secret investigation. So it's based off that documentary about going to this, this retirement home and actually finding out that, all this shit's going down. But, it's a little twist, though, because he's going to be a PI now going in and doing an investigation. So it could be fun. I don't know. I love Ted Danson. I think he's great. Of course, it's him working with the Good Place creator, which could be fun again. I love the Good Place. It's a fun show. If you haven't seen it, it's a lot of fun. So this might be something good. It might not be, it could be just like whatever, it's limited series. They'll do one season and it'll probably be it. So that's where we're at with that. So I don't know. It's something coming out. Something else that's coming out though too is Jury Duty. Now, Jury Duty is a little bit more interesting to me if you ask me. So Jury Duty has my man James Marsden back, friend of the show. Good old James Marsden, friend of the show.
James Marsden. Good old James. Jimmy Madsen.
Good old Jimmy Mars,
Jimmy Mars. That's what I meant. Thank you.
I call him Mars to the man.
JM. Just call him JM.
JM. Good. So he's doing this Amazon, for Freevee now. Of course, they have, the IMDb TV now. They're calling it Freevee. So it's doing this Freevee show. It's a new docu-series style comedy that takes place in a jury. So it actually premieres April 7th. They're going to debut 4 episodes, which is insane. They do 4 episodes the first time, and then every week is going to be 2 episodes until the whole 10 episodes have aired. So it'll be really quick. From April 7th to the 21st, the whole show will be out there. But Jury Duty chronicles the inner workings of an American jury trial through the eyes of one particular juror. So what happens is this one juror is unaware the entire case is fake. Everyone except him is an actor, including Marsden, and everything that happens inside the courtroom and out of it is carefully planned. Now, the idea came from they wanted to origin. They want to make a TV show pretty much. They said, is it possible to make a sitcom like The Office, but in a trial and populate with brilliant comedic performers and then see what happens? And that's what they did with this. So they hired a bunch of actors. They have one person that thinks the whole thing is real. So it's reality, in its own again, but for one person. So, and then the shenanigans happen. So I don't know. This could be cool. Anything ensue. Sabrina, what do you think? Think this could be fun? I don't know. As my man James, it might be good.
I mean, he's a friend of the show, so I'm definitely not going to say anything bad about him because he's a friend of the show. However, Freebie is I guess trying to get their footing. They do have Bosch Legacy on there, which is a very notable show. So I feel like they have some credibility. I know Rachel seems to be very upset about this.
I don't need the same Toyota or Mint Mobile commercial every 2 minutes.
Exactly. Which I feel you know. However, if you're having like Titus Welliver on Freebie and you're having James Marsden, friend of the show, on Freebie, I feel like they're trying to build their background so that it's something more than just something annoying like Tubi or, which, and I, by the way, just everybody don't have a problem with Tubi at all. I love Tubi. I'm just saying,
you can watch The Valley on Tubi.
Yep,
Cheap plug.
Thank you, Brian. I wanted that. I was waiting for that. But yeah, so I think it sounds fun, and it kind of sounds like that. I wish I knew the name of it. That show, the murder mystery thing that was Conan O'Brien and Job from like that. That's
also a Netflix thing. But that was all improv.
It was like an improv-y, like for one person, like people didn't know the scripts or know what was going on. It was kind of like a what's going to happen sort of thing. So like, I feel like it could be fun and it might really be good. I'll check it out.
It's like a show based on that reality show that Spike TV did back in the day where it was like a fake reality show full of actors, but there was one real person. It's like Joe something or whatever. And then they revealed at the end that he was the only person on the show that wasn't an actor and it was all fake.
Oh, yeah, I vaguely remember that. What was that called? I totally know what you're talking about.
It was like Joe something. I can't remember what. I watched a whole thing about it recently.
I know what you're talking about.
It's weird to make a show based on that premise. It doesn't sound terrible, but like the problem with all of this stuff like that you're talking about, like remember that point when Kevin Smith was releasing all of his new movies on these streaming services that nobody ever heard of, and then all of his movies bombed, and we wondered why? It's like because you released them on a streaming service that nobody ever heard of before. It's like you can't build a streaming service off of one movie. It's like we're not going to go to whatever to watch the Weird Al movie. Like we want to watch the Weird Al movie, we're going to watch it, and then we're going to cancel our subscription.
Roku.
It's like we're all going to go to these things and we're going to watch the thing on it, and then we're going to cancel our subscription. Like, you don't have enough content on there. There's not enough on there backing it to make anybody stick around. So we're all going to go get our free trial. We're all going to watch your thing that we all want to see. And then we're all going to back off. Like, that's the stupidest thing about all these things. It's like, yeah, I understand, like, you got to make something to make people want to join it. But I think, like, these streaming channels need to fuck off. Like,
it's too much.
Realize, like, well, like, I mean, they need to realize, like, okay, we can't all have our own streaming channel. I think maybe we need to realize, like, we need to get a foothold on who are the strong winners in the streaming channel finale and put our money on who they are, decide who they are, maybe give, like, 10 people, like, the finale, and then just kind of invest all our money into those. Because, like, it's so stupid to go out and keep investing in, like, oh, I'm going to start my own streaming service. It's like, okay, buddy, good luck. Like... maybe you'll succeed, but like there's no way in this market at this point. Like it's like everything. Like it's like the car market or any of that. Like at the car market at the start, like there was 50 car makers and now there's like 4. And it's like, yeah, because you're not going to compete with the ones once they come in. Like once the market's been established and there are those like 5, major brands, no one's going to go outside of those 5 major brands. So you have to now be a creator and create content for those brands instead of trying to come in and compete against them, because there's no way you're going to. The market's been built, it's there, it's established. Stop trying to rebuild the wheel when you know you can't. Yeah. And with the automotive thing, like with the electric car stuff that's going on right now, that's the new revolution. You've got to wait for the next platform to come along that's going to allow you to build off of that and get in that next level competition. That's the only way. So it's like you got to wait for the next streaming platform type thing that's going to come along to be able to get on the ground floor of it. Because it's the only way that this can happen. It's the only way capitalism can work. You have to get on the ground floor of it in order to get your shit established. Otherwise, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. And that's also like, again, that just comes down to too many services, too much happening, and then like so much content. It's always going to be cause more problems about this too. And I don't know. It just, we see all these shows and we see all these Freevee and Tubi and Roku. You were saying before, talking about the Weird Al thing, that there's so many that have the streaming stuff. And then we talked before, HBO wants to do their own one too, called WB. You know, it's like, when's it stop? Like, we pay, we don't pay, we have ads. It's too much. Let's combine them somehow. I don't know. It's never gonna happen. Probably. Maybe it will. Something else we gotta keep this shit moving here. But the one other thing I want to talk about, this is just ridiculous. This is one of those ridiculous topics I just want to talk about for a second. So the Shredder from Ninja Turtles is coming to Call of Duty.
Why?
I don't know. Apparently they had Terminator before. They have Godzilla on there, and now they're like, we're gonna bring the Shredder. So this ad came out where it's like just showing his silhouette, and it's like coming soon. Apparently March 21st is when they're saying he's gonna launch as a new character in Call of Duty. So you can be Shredder if you want to be Shredder and shoot some people. I guess would you use swords? I guess I don't really know. I mean, Godzilla and the Terminator makes more sense for this than Shredder, but
right.
Turtles, you know what I mean? I don't know. But this is happening, so if you're a Call of Duty fan, you got some Shredder coming your way very soon this month. Whatever. Something else, I'm going to get into some Star Wars news. There's a lot of like Star Wars news today. So the very first thing I want to...
There's so much. Date men that play Call of Duty, that's all.
You don't date... What was it? What's that, Lexi?
You don't date men that play Call of Duty. That's all.
You just let that be. Like, that's the first question on the date. You go, do you play Call of Duty?
Can we get the check? I gotta go.
Yeah.
Jukebox says it's like Hollywood has lost all creativity, and I 100% agree.
I agree too.
It's a fighting topic on the show where I'm always like, just get a new fucking idea. And there are very few times, there are some, I will say that, but there are very few times where you revive something or do a prequel or a sequel, whatever the fuck, like dig something up from the depths of the earth, that it does wind up being successful. I mean, obviously Star Wars, which we're about to talk about, is one of those things that you can keep reproducing and still is successful.
To a certain degree, but like I feel like that becomes a problem too. Because if you keep doing it, all of a sudden it gets oversaturated. There's too much.
That's what Liam Neeson said. Liam Neeson was actually very upset that they keep doing all the Star Wars shit, because he's like, dude, it's ruining the majesticness and like the mystery about it. It's tarnishing the legacy.
They oversaturated the market with toys and junk long before they started making more movies. Like, as a toy collector, they were already oversaturating the market with toys before they even started bringing out more movies and other things.
Yeah.
And it's like, they've already like destroyed the value of the market with the toys. They've already destroyed the value of the market with the stuff. They're oversaturating with the films. It's like, you gotta let things quiet down before you go back to it. I don't think that you can't go back to Star Wars, but I think like they've gone way too hard with it because they got their grip on it and they were like, money.
Yeah. Well, they spent so much money on it. That's when they bought it. They spent so much money. Don't you made it back right away? They made it right back.
Right. Oh yeah, 100%. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, it prints. So.
Sure.
There's a lot going on with Lucasfilms right now. There's a lot happening because there's a bunch of stories today that came out and I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't happening. This happened. It's nuts. The first thing I want to talk about is Kevin Feige's project, because Kevin Feige was supposed to actually do a Star Wars movie. He's been developing it, trying to move it forward. But I mean, I don't even know how this man has time for a Star Wars movie. And I know it's like kind of the same house. It's the House of Mouse. It just is. But Apparently his movie has been shelved, just like Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron was shelved. So they've shelved both these movies. They're not saying they're done, but they're shelving it. And they don't even have a name for it. He's just developing his own original show or his own movie. So that's shelved. It's being put aside. Kevin Feige's, he's got so much happening with the Infinity, I would say Infinity, but the Avengers stuff, I should say, especially going to the Kang Dynasty.
You wanted to say
Secret Wars. Yeah, there's so much he has already going on, and it's like, so they're saying it's no longer in development. They're pushing it aside. Not that it's canceled, but they already have Ahsoka's coming out next. They have The Acolyte, which we're going to talk about next. They have Skeleton Crew coming out. They have a third season Mandalorian airing right now, and they also have the video game, the Star Wars Jedi Survivor, is coming out April 28th. So there's a lot of Star Wars stuff that's happening. But it's hilarious because they don't even know what the next Star Wars movie is going to come out. They have a date for the next Star Wars movie, but between all these projects, none of them have been lined up to be that one. So it's just showing that they're kind of just like all over the place. But then again, I think they're doing too much. Like, focus on it, make it happen. Ryan Johnson was supposed to do one too, and that's been shelved. They're not saying it's done, but it might still happen. And it's like, how many projects do we have? Snyder was supposed to do one, and they took it away from him. I don't know. It's just driving me nuts when it comes to all this stuff.
That's for the best.
Yeah, but he's still making it. He's still making it, but he just changed the title and changed some of the characters so it's not Star Wars, But it's coming out on Netflix now instead. Yeah, it's pretty much the same script. It's Rebel Moon. It's called Rebel Moon. So if you've heard anything about Rebel Moon, that's coming out. They shot it. So Rebel Moon was supposed to be a Star Wars movie, and then as soon as they said we're not going to do it now, he just changed some little things, and now he just shot it again, and he's releasing it on Netflix. Of course. Yeah,
he shot it all on that one Canon camera that he loves to shoot everything on.
Right.
I don't hate him for it. If you invested your time and shit into that, and like you had a deal, I'm not mad at him for shopping it somewhere else and doing what he can, honestly.
But how much slow mo will be in that too?
All the slow mo.
Can you imagine slow mo lightsaber?
All of the slow. No, it's just you're gonna walk in slow. Everything. They should just make an entire movie in slow mo. Like when you walk to get a mail, like a piece of mail, it should be slow mo. It's like a 10-minute mail drop. Like, it's ridiculous with the slow mo, honestly.
He is my top 3 most hated directors. I absolutely cannot stand him.
Zack Snyder?
Like, he's an abomination. Yeah, I think he's one of the worst directors. Keeps getting work. Cannot stand anything he makes. He has one good film.
I'm slightly offended. I'm actually...
Sucker Punch is his only good movie. That's it. And it's only good because, his origin is music video directing. So he started out as a music video director. So he's really good at music video directing. So he's really good with his soundtracks, and he's really good at his visuals. So Sucker Punch is a terrible film with as far as story and everything is, but it has really great visuals and it has really good soundtrack. So it's what it does well is music video sequences, and I'm like, of course, that's what it does well. I'm like, the music's great, and the visual sequences are great, and the rest of it's shit. And I'm like, but the parts that are good are hot. So there you go.
Yeah, you're right. The visuals in that movie are amazing. I do love the visuals. I was gonna say the same thing when you're going into them. The movie. I remember I watched it one time. Like, what the hell is happening in this movie? Like, I have no idea to this day. Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know what the fuck's going on. I own the movie. I'm like, I paid $2 for it from a
Rachel thinks
it's a good movie. I have no idea what's happening in that movie.
I'm gonna say this. Zack Snyder infinitely laps Joss Whedon with the Snyder cut of Justice League, so I'm gonna give him props for that. Honestly, it was a 4-hour and change movie, and you can ask anyone who knows me. If someone wants to go see a movie, I'm like, how many minutes does it run? Because I'm not trying to be in a movie for 17 hours. And I watched that, and I wasn't upset about how long it was, because it gave all of the backstory and all the things that were not included in the Joss Whedon cut. I was
a
thrilled
much more cohesive film than
100%.
The one that Whedon gave us.
Yeah,
but at the same time, neither one needed to be made, because all of it was a failure anyway, because DC fucked up by making Justice League at all without making all of the establishing films before getting to the Justice League film. Who the fuck does that? Who
they
the
rushed
fuck
it.
goes like, oh, you know what? Let's make the Batman Superman film second. Like what? You don't even have like the Wonder Man movie. You don't have the Green Lantern. You don't have like any of these establishing character films that builds you to it, because that film should be 2 hours of pure action. That's what the Avengers is. The Avengers is all of the shit from all the other films accumulating to a 2-hour action bash up. That's what you want from that movie.
Yeah.
That's what that movie should be. And none of that gets there because they've got to cram all of this character building and world building and story building into a film that isn't built for it and isn't established for it, because it needs to be the film that is just the throwdown. So why would you do that? DC does not. Hopefully, like you guys talked about it before, hopefully Gunn can get this shit back on track. Start over. We gotta like get back to establishing the characters and get everything properly laid out so that we can get this thing done right. Because it's like Marvel laid out all of the plan, like the grid work of how to build a universe. It doesn't matter what universe you're building. If you want to build a film universe, Marvel has laid down the bare bones grid work of how it's done. Whether you're into superheroes or not, those movies are a beautiful template of how to do this. The formula is there. It's been done. All you have to do is pay attention to how that was done properly. Why are you not doing it right? You literally have the same shit. You have the same box of toys. Why did you not make the same thing?
Like you see how it works. You see the successful formula they used, and it worked. It worked so well.
I feel like Gunn is going to change that a lot, honestly. Like I
hope
really
so.
do. But like just in specifically of those two films, like Snyder outperformed Whedon like by 1 million, and so I'm trying to give him a nod for that. Because like
I get you. I got where you're going.
The Joss Whedon version, I literally was like, this is the worst thing. Like, and I was so pissed. And then
the Whedon cut was terrible.
But it was supposed to be a cyborg movie. It wasn't a cyborg movie.
Oh, and by the way, cyborg was the weakest link. The weakest link by far in that movie. But when they did the Snyder cut, it like I felt for I liked him so much more. I appreciated him so much more. I saw it so much more. And with all the characters, it wasn't
Cyborg,
just him.
Who's a great character too.
Yeah,
he has a really great backstory and like all this kind of stuff.
Has
nobody
fleshed
established
out.
him properly.
Yeah, exactly. But no one still has fleshed out. Like even in Doom Patrol, which I love, like no one has fleshed out that character properly or cast it properly. Because he is my least favorite character to watch on screen. Of a super, any version of him, I'm like, oh, this guy again. Oh,
he's like, great in Teen Titans.
It's exhausting. Fuck that. I do not know, Lexi. Okay.
I'm a huge.
We can talk about Zack Snyder for a long time. Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon is coming, everybody. It was a Star Wars movie, but now it's not. But something we gotta talk about Star Wars. I want to get back onto the Star Wars wagon.
Right.
So another thing that came out in the news with Star Wars is a lawsuit right now. So Lucasfilms is being sued. All right, they're being sued by one of their producers. So Lucasfilms actually hired Karen McCarthy to do the Star Wars production of Acolyte. So they brought her on, and she started working for a couple weeks. Now, she's suing them because they pink slipped her after a couple weeks. They offered her $5,000 as compensation, and she said that's a kick in my face because if I would have taken a different project, I would have made millions. I was supposed to make millions on this. I didn't. And I was actually offered an Apple TV Plus show. And if I would have taken that, I would have made so much money, but I turned that down to come to you guys. And that's her big problem with this. So it's just like a whole thing. She was a Baller's executive producer, and she was just really upset about this. She says, as a result of bad faith and wrongful termination, the defendants deprived Miss McCarthy of significant employment from which she would have earned millions of dollars from the life of the series. Now, 2 weeks later, after without an explanation, without reason, without justification, they told her they wanted out of the deal, and they gave her a 12-page filing in the Los Angeles Superior Court. By this time, the Apple offer was gone. Apple had moved on and found another executive producer for a show called Sugar, and she was out, and that was it. This is a Colin Farrell starring project, and she could have done that, but she chose to do the Lucasfilm one instead, which of course it's Star Wars. So I mean, maybe the Apple TV Plus one was a great option at the time, but if you have Star Wars in one hand and you have an Apple TV original program, I feel like you go with Star Wars. And this happens a lot. Right. That's what you do. So for me, when I heard this, I'm like, I get it. Like she took Star Wars, and then this happens. I will tell you, if the contract was signed and it's all, it's all there, like, of course she should get paid. But this happens in Hollywood all the time. It's like, you choose one thing and then you're kicking yourself because you didn't do the other thing. It happens. It happens to actors, it happens to crew, it happens to directors, it happens to everybody. But this is a big problem for Lucas, because she might have an actual lawsuit here. She's going against them. She's going to fight them for the money that she's owed. And I feel bad for her, because I know people this happens to. Well, not millions of dollars like this, but like it's even happened to me where I've chosen one job and then I'm kicking myself because the other job. Remember, I worked in the middle. And I did the first 2 weeks of the middle, the first, my first season. And then I went on to Inception, which, again, I'm not kicking myself because I loved working on Inception. It led me down a different road. But then I'm like, it was like 10 years later, the middle's still shooting. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I missed out on that. But it's like the opportunities you get in this town.
I love that show, too.
It was fun.
Show.
Yeah, fun show. Good people on the show. Great people. And they were upset that I left when I left, because it was one of those things. But I'm like, it's Christopher Nolan, So again, then that'd be like me going to that and then being fired or something like that, let go. But I didn't have a contract. Like, she had a contract, so it's a problem for Lucas. Sabrina, you hear about this? Do you think she has a case, and do you think that Lucas is going down with this? Think that they should have, that they're wrong?
I do believe she has a case, like 110%. Like they hired her. From what I read, they hired her like in a position where she was going to start working immediately, and she did start working immediately, and they just like stopped her contract like mid work. So she was already doing stuff, and they offered her a $5,000 for one day, like some sort of severance. Yeah, a severance-ish situation, which, if she was working for more than one day, and by the way, $5,000 a day rate, sign me up, okay? Anybody who wants to pay me $5,000 a day to do anything, give me a call. I'll let you know. I'm available. I promise. But like, I understand like her plight. Like, if she was hired to do this, to work on this project and turn down another job where she could have made equally as lucrative money, like I mean, she absolutely legally, I think she has a case. And they tried to pretend like she didn't even have a contract. They tried to pretend like it was, not a thing. But then they offer this $5,000 bullshit pittance. Yeah. So obviously it was a thing. So I absolutely think that there is a day in court, and I think she'll win. Honestly,
I feel like too. Right, Lexi? I feel like they know they're in the wrong, right? They know how this business works, and they're just trying to be like, she'll just go away. But you have an executive producer that's worked on other projects like Ballers. You hire her for a reason. You know that she's good at her job. You know that she knows contracts, right? So, I mean, I don't know why they would actually then they get away with this, without, her going after them. So you feel the same way, that they're in the wrong, that they'll probably be taken down. Do you think she'll win the case?
Yeah, most likely. I mean, it's a shame, too, because Acolyte could have been really badass.
Yeah,
like it's a cool concept. I know about that side of that story of Star Wars, so that could have been a good story.
Well, they still shot it though. So they did it without her. So it's still coming out. Acolyte's still coming out.
Shooting in October of 2022. So like, I mean,
they just dumped
her then. They just fucked her. Like,
they just fucked her hardcore.
That's ridiculous. Yeah,
no lube. Not even a little bit of lube. Like, which is pretty fucked up, if you ask me.
Because like, as much as like you're like, well, Apple TV, I'm like, yeah, but some of that Apple TV shit's getting like high accolades right now. Like, I'm not watching any of it because like, it's another streaming service that I don't want to sign up for. But I mean, like, what that Coda walked away with all kinds of awards. That was an Apple TV.
So many. Yeah.
Like, Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso. Is like one of the most like
Severance
nominated and winning things. Yep, Severance as well. Morning show. Like they're
investing a lot of money, so like they've got a lot of good people on there. They've got a lot of. They're all just seems like Apple TV is just trying to walk away with like the Oscars. It's like I don't think it's a bad place to go if you're trying to establish yourself and your career as a director.
Yeah.
So I think maybe a lot of people won't watch it, but the right people will watch it because the right eyes are on anything that Apple TV is watching. Because those people are winning awards left, right, and center. So,
and they're willing to spend the money too. They'll spend it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's because Apple has so much income from, of course, iPhones, computers, tablets, all this stuff. Like that's where they really make their bread and butter.
But regardless, they have great content, dude. They have great fucking
But they have
content.
so much money to put into it. That's what I'm saying. They have so much money to put into it.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're not
Oh,
charging
true.
them. I mean, they're charging like
My
$5 a
my
month.
problem is they don't have enough content because like I had
That's true.
a year of it for free, and like I went on there and I was like, well, let me go through all like your individual categories. I'm like, there is no individual category. Here's everything, and I'm just like, this is all of it on one whole page. It's like, yep, this is all of it, and I'm just like, well, all right then. I'm kind of already not interested. Like, it's
But
just not enough to keep my attention.
I mean, to be
It,
fair, like they were just starting. Like they're just, it's like a brand new thing. It's not
Totally.
like, like Netflix like has been going for quite a bit. Not, I mean, streaming is new. Sorry, streaming is new in general. But I feel like I know I keep
well, for them.
slapping the microphone.
You're
You're
good.
okay.
But Apple TV is like the newest of the new, so like they're getting their footing, and like with their footing they have come with some amazing shows. Like Ted
Right.
Lasso is one of my favorite shows that's ever been on fucking television. Honestly, I cannot wait. They start in like 2 weeks or a week and a half or whatever the fuck it is, and I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Like morning show is amazing. Like everything that we like, there is a lot going on there, and I feel like they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the future.
Yeah, they
I
put a
was
lot
really
of time
interested in
into it.
Amazing Adventures, the remake of the Spielberg series from back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I didn't watch it. I
Absolutely.
saw that pop up, though. I saw
Yeah.
something like that pop up. Didn't they have that, like, I was like, like a year? I don't even know how long. I feel like they have
It
a lot
was
of
one of the
stuff on there I
first
haven't
things they
seen.
had on there, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
They're-
time has stood still since COVID. Like I honestly still cannot judge the amount of time that goes by, like relatively, like I used to be able to. It's so bizarre.
but
It's
for
like
her, though,
the
I
world
get
is
it, like,
spinning
her
and I'm
being
standing
mad.
still.
I get why she's mad. I know this stuff
Oh,
happens though in
100%.
Hollywood a lot, and it's like a lot of people just take it and they walk away. But hopefully, if she's owed her money, she should get her money. It doesn't make sense why they let her
Absolutely.
go, but there's, I bet they had a friend or something that took her spot. There's probably some politics that went into why she was gone, especially because she's worked as this part before in a bunch of different projects. So the fact that she knows how to do the job, I can't imagine it was anything about that. It's probably something weird. And you know what? And they'll probably have to suffer for it. And they got enough money. They've got enough money. Come on. Come on, guys. Pay her due money. Just do it now. Come on. Come on. Lucas, Disney, Mouse,
The
it's
funny
all the
thing is,
same.
we went on a tangent about Apple TV and we were talking about Disney.
I know, right? I know. Well, that's how it goes. One more story about Disney I want to get into, actually Star Wars, is Taika Waititi is actually doing a Star Wars movie. So that's moving forward. Taika's getting his own project. He's going to probably star in it, actually write it, and maybe even direct it, they're saying. So
Whoop, whoop.
so it's moving forward. They're giving opportunity. Of course, this is very soon. This is very new. They're not really sure when it's coming out, what's happening. He's still developing the script. He's still working on it. He's worked on The Mandalorian before. Of course, he plays the voice of the robot that they got shot and killed the last season.
Oh,
And
that was so depressing when he died. I was so upset.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
So he's so good. I love him. He's so good. So they're saying that maybe he'll get that time slot. So that time slot for the next actual Lucasfilm movie for Star Wars is December 19th, 2025. Like I said, he might get that. Maybe Rogue Squadron will actually move forward to do Rogue Squadron. Maybe it'll be Kevin Feige's. I mean, the fact that his is the actual one that's still moving forward and the other ones are still shelved right now, I'm guessing he'll probably get it. But even like the guys from Game of Thrones were supposed to do one, that got pushed, you know what I mean? That got stopped. So he trying to do these Star Wars movies, but they never finished developing them and moving them forward. And it makes me wonder, like, why are we not getting something going if you want to really do this? Like they keep focusing on Disney Plus. That's why, But what do? You dive back into
That
the
guy everything.
yeah everything.
It doesn't matter. Whatever he wants, they just hand him. They're like, what's that? Tico Watiki? Yeah, here you go. You can have it. Whatever you want. It's
I can't
yours.
be mad at
It's
it.
like that guy. I know the quality of his work is good. Like you said, like I shouldn't be mad at it, but I am also kind of like, Like I'm like
again.
of it. Like him and Lin-Manuel, I'm like, okay, like I get it, like they're talented. I'm like, it's like that point when that Childish Gambino was being given everything too. I'm just like, I can't.
I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like
people.
I feel you on like the Lin Manuel tip, a little bit, but like I somehow, and honestly, because everyone, friends of the show, know that I hate musicals. Every friend of the show knows I hate fucking musicals, but I am obsessed with fucking Hamilton. And I like, because of that, I like literally I'm like Lin-Manuel Miranda, but there's like I watched the In the Heights, and I was like, nah, it's okay.
Yeah.
I really like, I grew up in New York, so I really enjoyed the Mr. Softy and the Piragua like thing, like that went
Right.
back and forth. Like I really enjoyed that because I'm from New York, but the whole thing itself, not over exciting. However, the what happened to my shot there, bro?
I took it away. I don't know. It wasn't working right.
It was very weird. It was like my face, like wait, just this much of my face.
I know. Took it away.
So thank you, I appreciate that, producer. So when I saw him on his Dark Materials, I was like, fuck yes, the validation I've been looking for, because I've been obsessed with you for so long. Like he was so amazing in his Dark Materials, and like that, like, and he also wrote in Canto, which I didn't love, but like, met to huge accolades, you know what I mean? But also I'm not five, so that's not really my
Right.
audience. So like I've had like my
Rachel's a
with the
huge
goddamn microphone.
fan of him. So like,
Is she? I'm
he gets a lot of play in this house, and like I get
girl,
like a lot of she's huge into him.
Poor
I'm
Brian,
exposed
he has
to
to
him like
listen
quite
to
frequently, and
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And
I am not
I do play
personally a
Hamilton
fan though.
quite a
Like
lot. At all? You don't like Hamilton?
No, I'm not.
Do you like musicals? Is my question. Do you like musicals?
Musicals. I'm a huge musicals fan.
Yeah,
maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the problem, because I hate musicals and I fucking love
hard.
Hamilton.
I was like when the very concept of Hamilton was presented to me, I was like, who in the fuck came up with this?
Lexi, by the way,
I
hate history and I hate musicals.
Yeah,
Brian wanted to watch
like,
it.
No.
He made me watch. I'm like, this sounds like literally like
I love
torture.
rap.
Like I'm like, I love rap too.
I love me some rap, but I'm like, I don't understand who wants to like.
Rap.
I know.
Is fine,
I hated
like,
that first.
History and a musical, I was like, I will sooner jump off a bridge.
Yeah, I was like, no.
And it was very weirdly situational how I became obsessed with it. But like, I asked Brian, like to this day, like he will come home and the Hamilton fucking soundtrack will be playing on Spotify. I swear to fucking God.
Yeah,
like, and it's so weird, and I don't know why, but I am literally obsessed with it. I love it. I love it. I know every word to every song, and even the songs I don't like. The hear ye, nobody likes that song. I know all the words. It's like I just cannot help myself.
Brian are very much in the minority. Like we've missed something here. Like it's a cultural phenomenon. Like it's gone over our heads. It's okay. We're allowed to like not understand, because me and Brian love Tron.
Yeah,
we know where the true greatness and things lie.
I'm sorry.
Tron friends unite. Tron friends unite.
I'm really tripping right now.
You watch out for us.
Wait a minute. Jukebox just said that Lin-Manuel was in Sopranos as a fucking bellboy. Like, what?
No, I saw this, and I'm trying, because I just rewatched Sopranos, and I'm like, God, what season was that?
What?
I'm like,
that's insane.
That's wild.
Funny. Like that makes me.
What? Hey, Jukebox, can you please tell us what season that is?
Probably just in the.
I'm gonna watch it immediately when this is over. I promise you.
Well, all I gotta say. Well, first of all, we got a lot of Star Wars news. We'll see what the next movie comes. And Tron friends unite. That's all I'm saying.
That's right. Right.
We gotta move on though. We can talk about Star Wars forever. The next thing I want to talk about is something that I know that Lexi will probably like talking about, and Sabrina like talking about. I want to talk about a little bit more Evil Dead news. So this came out where Bruce Campbell was talking about the Evil Dead. He was doing an interview, and of course, he said over and over again he can't do any more Evil Dead because he's like, I'm getting too old, I can't keep being Ashley. I can't be Ashley anymore, It's pretty much done for me. But he did say that all I can say is we're actively pursuing an animated Evil Dead project. They're actively pursuing it. He's been talking to Sam Raimi about it. He said he's a busy guy. He's been, a bit active shaping out his own world, his own projects and all that. But he's also working with him on doing this. It's one thing to get an animator, he said, to be like, hey man, animate this. But you got to know what you're doing and you got to know how to do it. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense there. But he pretty much said that they've been joking about it, been trying to look forward to making happen. He says he looks forward to it because his voice hasn't aged as much as his body has. So He said he can still be Ash in his voice,
No,
but his
not at
body
all.
is not the same anymore. But I thought he was fine being Ash in like Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Like, yeah, you're a little bit bigger, but they put the girdle on or whatever, and he straightened himself out, and then he got out there and shot. Like, you can
I
still do
loved
it.
Ash vs. Evil Dead,
But
dude. I
but
fucking loved it.
but Lexi,
was
when you were on
great.
here before,
Loved
we
it.
talked about this. You talked about this last time you were on the show. You were saying that this might be a good venue for him to go down, and they're thinking about it. They're actually talking about it. Him and Sam Raimi are talking about it. And maybe it'll be a project that'll move forward. If he's excited about it, there might be Evil Dead in our future. There might be some more Ash. Hail to the king, baby. Are you excited about this, Lexi?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Obviously, I will watch it, and I'm not mad at it, and I'm always here to see Bruce Campbell reprise the role of Ash, because I do believe he can do it until he's dead. I want to know who's animating it. That's one thing, because I've been really particular with my animation recently. There's been so much experimental, weird animation styles. Like, I noticed you guys covered that new Ninja Turtles movie that's coming out, and a lot of people have been presenting that to me. And I've said repeatedly, like, I am not a big fan of this current generation of cel-shading CG that uses that chunky stop motion kind of style to it. I'm not a super big fan of that. I think I would have been more hyped for that movie if it was using more of a traditional cel style than the chunky CG that they're presenting to me. So, like, that one I'm kind of, like, a little bit more on the fence with. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the Netflix animation that's been coming out. Like, I watch it for the story, not the animation. So, I don't necessarily want this to be I'm watching it for the story, not the animation. So, like, my big thing with this is please get good animators to come in with this, as well as a good story and good everything else. Because, like, if you bring in some solid quality, I'd be, like, so happy for it. But, like, not good animation is really gonna, like, make or break this for me. Like, if you try to do this in 3D, I'm not gonna be here for it. If you try to do, like, some sort of, like, weird cel shading CG, like 3D body kind of stuff, I'm not gonna be as here for it. I'll be here for the, like, once again, for the story, not for the animation. And I really I'm tired of being here for the story, not for the animation, because I love animation. Animation is, like, my forte. I have that whole stack of stuff behind me. Most of that's animation. Like, I love animation, so it's like I really want to see some dynamic, crazy styles. You know who I'm a big fan of is Warner Brothers when it comes to animation. I don't know if you watch any of, like, the straight to video like DC stuff that they do, but I'm a huge fan of, like, any of the Bruce Timm stuff that gets, like, the original Batman the Animated Series. Bruce Timm's still involved in all of their animation division stuff. So, like, all of the DC stuff that comes out to this day, like, I just watched the Battle of the Super Sons. That was excellent. I'm like, the animation in that was a little chunky. And it's used 3D, but it still was more. I was still able to go with that a lot more than, like, I would something like that Ninja Turtles movie that's coming out. So if you get, like, Warner Brothers involved, maybe, or one of those animation studios like that, and kind of give me that hardcore, because those Mortal Kombat movies that they've been putting out recently that Warner Brothers have been doing, those are top tier. The animation in those is excellent. They've got the violence over the top. Like, you want the violence to really, like, you want the violence in this to really shine. So, like, you want the colors to really, like, bleed through everything and really, like, pop. You want it to have, like, those bright comic book kind of qualities to it when you do it. And if they don't achieve that, they get, like, too drab with their art, or they get too creative in an art way that isn't gonna really work. It's just then, like I said, I don't want to just focus on the story. I want something a little bit more. I want it to be a full package.
Yeah, which it should be. I mean, especially because,
like, I could say,
because you're like, spending your time on this to come back.
I want some good animation.
I do too, especially if you're gonna do this. You gotta do it right, and maybe that's why it'll take some time for them to do it.
I love everything that they've been doing.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm down for it. Like, I love me some Bruce Campbell, and I feel on the same page with you, Lexi.
Everything's been good. Like,
yeah, the series was great. I feel like the deal with that was awesome. It was fun. It was lively. It brought back the character, and the character felt real and true to himself. And hopefully that they do this. Hopefully Sam Raimi's involved. Hopefully Bruce Campbell's involved. Hopefully they find the best script to do. Maybe it can continue after the actual Ash vs. the Evil Dead show. Maybe they can continue.
Well, I mean, Bruce Campbell spoke about that, like at Comic-Con and in a couple of interviews, like that it would be a continuation of Ash vs. the Evil Dead.
Well, it should be, and they should actually go in there, or they could actually do After Army of Darkness. That could be fun too, because it's kind of the same ending though. If you watch the show and watch Army of Darkness, it's kind of the same ending. In a way.
I feel like you need a continuation of Ash vs. the Evil Dead. That was, a really abrupt ending, and I feel like it would be amazing
where you're
to see
animating
that story
it
go further.
You can finally push Ash into the Deadites zone. You can take him out of this world and have him go into their world, which you could make twisted and crazy and completely something that you wouldn't be able to make sets for or anything like that. It can finally be like that element that you couldn't visually show before because you just didn't have the budget for or any of that kind of stuff, or CG just wouldn't work for it. This is an opportunity to show elements of the Evil Dead universe that you've never shown before. So,
which would be awesome. I'm down for it.
Use that opportunity. Yeah.
I'm totally down for it. Yeah, what was that? Somebody made a comment. What was the comment again? There was a comment about somebody coming to town.
Yes, Chris Henderson, 69. He just turned 20, and he's moving to Atlanta at the end of May to pursue his dream of working in the film industry, and he's looking for advice.
Just know if you're moving to Atlanta, just so you know, that's a lot. It's a right to work state. The union stuff there is some union stuff. But if you want to actually get into the union, there's not a lot of work there that will be. I mean, it's just they have the right to work stuff. So if you come here, there's a lot more union stuff. There's a lot. They cover things in Atlanta. They don't actually cover your insurance days. So that's a huge problem there. But I would say just the good thing about Atlanta is if you're acting there, there's a lot more opportunities because they're doing a lot more local hires. So those day player parts, those small parts, those that you can get those easier. I think that's good. And I think
Chris,
I think you just got to push.
There's a huge advantage to starting somewhere that is not super unionized. You're not going to get the best benefits and the best rates, but as a non-union actor, if you've never acted before, it's a really good place to start. You're in a smaller pond, than you are in LA or, Atlanta has, grown quite a bit. But, if you can find a good agent and, are willing to work, without those extra benefits, to get your start, I think that you'd be in a really good place, if you can just find some good representation, someone who's behind you. You can still submit out here too. There's a lot of opportunity in Atlanta. Atlanta. I don't even know what that means. Atlanta. Atlanta. So yeah, I think that you're in a very good place. And please, you can go in our comments and ask questions at any time. And we can maybe even structure a show based on that, if we go back and forth enough to figure out, what your questions are and how to help it further,
and you can always
love to help you. You can
always email us at cruisecontrolshow@gmail.com too. You can always email us too.
Absolutely.
We answer those comments too. But just the big thing is you can submit to people in LA, agents and managers in LA too, and just say you're a local hire in Atlanta. It's a huge win. And get out there and keep doing it. Get an LA casting, get an actors access, sign up for those, get your foot in the door and start moving, and get some good headshots and get going because there's a lot of opportunity in Atlanta. So you just hit us up some more. But Evil Dead is coming, everybody. Evil Dead is coming, maybe the animated show. I hope so.
I can't wait.
Hope so.
I can't
Bruce Campbell wants to do it, and Sam Raimi wants to do it. I'm down for it. But as Lexi said, spend some time with the script and the animation. Do it right. Get the right people behind it. Maybe try to find people that have had successful things like Into the Spider-Verse, and piggyback off that and find things that work and do the best script that flows along with the narrative for Evil Dead, and and make it good, make it funny, make Ash. It goes a long way. But now it's time for our featured story of the night. All right, we're a little bit over for before. There's another story I'll talk about tomorrow, but we're gonna dive into The Last of Us because this is something that we've all watched. So it's hard to get everybody on the show that we've all watched the same show. But so The Last of Us episode 8 just came out on Sunday. There's only one episode left, which is just insane. I can't believe we're down to the last episode. But this new episode, When We Are in Need, the episode's called. The best thing about this, I think, was Troy Baker coming in. Troy Baker voiced the actual character of Joel in The Last of Us, and then he actually played a character on the show, and he had a substantial amount too. He was like the sidekick of the cannibal. Great. He was great too, and this is really about the cannibal community. Again, spoilers. If you haven't watched this might be a time to tune out. But if you have, this is us just talking about having an open discussion about this. So the cannibal, I gotta tell you, I love that the fact that they had teased that like 2 episodes ago, and the 2 episodes ago, they teased it that there was actually like the person that was, that stabbed Joel. And then all of a sudden they came back that was that community of cannibals. I thought that was really cool. And then the fact that it came around and that they were all still there. And then that kind of tied in. That scene where they actually met up and she had shot the deer. And then all of a sudden they're there and they had that standoff. And then they revealed that this community was actually like so intertwined and so close to the whole situation. I just love the narrative there. I thought it was good. And the fact that, Pedro's whole thing where he actually comes in, that was so cool. Like the way she was able, it was giving her justice to save him and giving her this moment of being an adult. And like, now that he's saved her, she can save him. And I thought that was really fun how they did that. Even like him coming back to life, she blocked off the passage downstairs with that big cabinet. I think that was good. I just really enjoyed the character growth for her. Like really, like I think she had a lot of movement that really worked really well. And it was really her episode. And there was some creepy shit that happened in this. There really was. Like Sabrina, you right? Like Lexi, so what did you think? You saw this, Lexi. Like it's just that like there's some creepy stuff. It was crazy, right? Like I was just it blew my mind. This one, like I haven't played the games, so I didn't know where this was going.
I was like this little girl.
Oh, I think we're losing you, Lexi.
Oh, really?
Sabrina, can you hear?
On? Yeah.
Can you hear?
I can't. Through so much trauma on the show, and take this time.
Oh, no, she's back.
After this, like, I think we are you. Shut. Hold on.
Oh, we're losing it for a second. It's okay. Even if you have to refresh for a second, we can bring you back in.
Let's try the.
Sabrina, you saw this too. We'll let Lexi refresh for a second.
Sure.
What do you think about this episode? I think it was it was awesome, right?
Honestly,
it's a lot. It's a very heavy episode.
It's probably one of my favorite episodes of the show. Like episode 2 was really strong for me, and I feel like this is my next favorite. I also hated the episode 4. Or maybe 5, where the brothers and he got infected
5.
And that
6.
That was 2. Okay, thank you. I can't. It's so hard to keep them on track.
It's like so one. That tells you how good the story is, though. It all just kind of flows together.
That was a really good episode, but it was so fucking heartbreaking. But this, I feel like, is Ellie's coming to be. She was so fucking strong and so fucking smart, and she was able to hold her own and defend herself. And I am so here for that. You know what I mean? Like she was epic, and I think that it was so infinitely creepy that David wanted to fuck her and make her his wife in some way, as she was the fucking child. It was extremely rapey, which I did not appreciate. It was super rapey. And the way he put his hand on there, she put her hand on, and then she broke his fucking finger. I was like, she was such a badass. And I know everyone watching Pedro Pascal, or Joel, whatever you want to call him, work his way through the snow. Everyone expected him to save her. But I knew from jump she was going to fucking save herself. And I'm so glad that she did. And I'm so glad for the creators and writers and everyone. I'm glad that they did it that way, because that solidified a fucking strong, badass fucking female. And it was honestly one of my favorite episodes. She was amazing. And she murdered the fuck out of him. The writing is so good because it's the same
Oh,
thing as the
so...
video game. So like they're so into, and honestly, I've never played the video game, so I don't mean to say that in an elitist way, but like anyone that I've spoke to that has played the video game is like, this is so true to form, which I respect and appreciate, but it's the same people behind it, which is super helpful.
They really use a lot of the dialogue from the game too, which I think is awesome.
Yeah,
my favorite moment though in the entire episode was when Joel finally, like when she ran out after killing the fuck out of that preacher pedophile fuckwad. And he grabbed her and held her, and he was like, "It's okay, baby girl, I got you. Like baby girl is something that he hasn't said since episode 1, like referring
with
to his daughter. So it was was like it's like a bond that now can never be broken, in my opinion. So I feel like it was so, this was a very important episode. They did such a great job. Bella Ramsey, fucking my hat off to you. You're a fucking amazing actress. You fucking killed it. I mean, Pedro Pascal didn't have to do much, but he's amazing. The last 2 episodes were
all her.
Yeah, and she's in my book of one of the greatest female actresses of all fucking time. Like she is fucking amazing.
That's a big statement.
It really is. She killed. Yeah, but she killed the last 2 episodes.
She's carrying this show.
100%.
Oh yeah.
Like she's definitely one of the obviously she's a main character, but she's carrying a lot of this show, and where there's been some that are just focused on her, there's a lot of weight to carry. So like as a young actor and as a female actor, she's definitely like a very strong female character.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's done a job of bringing the show as some of the best female as some LGBTQ plus like character development I've ever seen on television period. Like they're doing an excellent job of their bases, and they're doing it without like pandering or any of that kind of stuff. Like everything's being treated very well and very respectfully.
Yep.
But I was gonna say
we lost her.
After everything we've watched on this show, we lost me again, really?
Yeah, we lost
did
you for a second.
But now you're kind of back, but you seem very digitally.
Okay.
No, I can hear you now.
Start
talking. Let's see what happens.
Okay. But
yay. Okay, I think we're good.
Okay. So I was just gonna say all the shit she's been through on this show, but this one episode, she's got a lot of trauma from just this one episode.
Yeah.
Like so much terrible happened to her in just this one episode alone. Like she had to deal with potential rape. She had to deal with like being captured. She had to deal with separation from him. She had to deal with like the head trauma. She had to deal with like everything that she had to deal with, and it was like all wrapped up in like one whole thing. And I was like, damn, that kid, like, alone. I'm like, all the shit she's been through, and this episode alone is going to impact her harder than any of the shit that she's been through.
Yeah. And the fact, the way she brutally killed that guy.
Everything you said, she fucking killed, but she killed it. She killed the acting performance. She killed fucking every aspect of what Lexi said. She fucking nailed it. And as an actress, that's really fucking hard.
For sure.
It's really fucking hard. She checked every single fucking box, and I'm so impressed with her. Like she is really a tour de force, honestly.
But even the little moments too, like I said, when she was shooting the deer by herself, those calm moments, where she's got to get her shit together. Her just going up the stairs and having that moment and like realizing what she's got to do, and then she's going to help him and putting the needle in him. Oh my God, putting the needle in him. Like, where do I put this? Joel, where do I put this? The fact that the way everything on her face, everything she was going through, she really, I could feel the pain. I could feel her anxiety. I could feel the stress of like, what am I going to do if he doesn't live? You know, how am I going to survive? How am I going to make it without him? Like, and her love for him and how much she cherishes him. Which we had, they've been pushing that more and more ever since they had the brother come in. You could tell how much she cared about Joel, and it's just been growing and growing and growing to this father and daughter dynamic. And it's gone a long way from before when it first started, where he's like, you're just cargo,
Right.
Which is insane.
And I think that the whole thing of him saying, baby girl at the end, like really like bridge that gap, and we're gonna have a new series moving forward. Pretty much,
Yeah.
Like,
honestly, and going in the last episode, it's interesting that they actually have had this all developed now for the very last episode.
It's weird because like I feel like they haven't gotten very far in the game. Like the game meaning the show. I keep hitting the microphone. I'm so sorry. However,
I don't hear that.
I feel like, oh good. Well, that's good. Because I keep bitch slapping it. But I just feel like it's really moving their relationship forward. Like the tie that they have to each other, which has been very tenuous from the start, anyone who's watching the show. So I feel like it is, it's a great move. It's a good bridge. And she is really fucking killing it, Bella Ramsey. Like I'm so impressed with her.
Me too.
I can't wait for her to be nominated for a slew of shit next year. Like she's really fucking killing it.
Yeah, and the fact that she carried this episode like this, but even the supporting characters though too.
2 episodes.
Yeah, she did carry the last 2.
The supporting episodes were amazing. That guy who you said played Joel, like he's like a video game voice, like fucking connoisseur. He's on Fortnite. He's on Far Cry 6. He's on Call of Duty. He's on Gods of War. Like he is a video game voiceover, like magician. This guy, and he was great on screen. He did a great job. I was so drawn to him, and it made me look him up. I was like, who is this guy? Like, I was so drawn to him. His performance was amazing.
Oh, his death too.
Oh my God, his death was, it was a lot. But his, like, just his performance on screen I was magnetized to it. And also, the preacher his character's name was David. I was also very drawn to him. Like the supporting characters were, it's very good casting, honestly.
They had that moment with the father's daughter, that she's like, you should kill them all, and then, he gets into her face and like,
the shit out of her. Like that horrified me. I was like,
and I was like, what's the deal? I didn't realize that there's this weird low key sex thing that he's doing. Like, you know what I mean? It's just really low key. It made me think that after the fact that maybe he's been, with all these girls, you never know.
Well, when he said he had a violent heart, like I feel like that part made sense for me. I don't know if it was like a rapey thing with her. It was definitely a rapey thing with Bella Ramsey or Ellie, however you want to call her. But I feel like the slap was more of an authoritative thing in that specific situation, because like those are the people in his coven, like let's say, for lack of a better word, like he's had all of these people. In this, in this coven, like, and they all respect him and they all worship him, they all follow him. So like, I feel like he probably wasn't rapey with her. Like, I think that was just an authoritative move to be like, don't fuck with me. And that's why he bitch slapped her, So, I could be wrong, but that was my take on it. It just, I don't know. It was super proud. He was an outstanding actor. He
so good.
Really, really, really put that forth. And like the rapey shit that went on with the cage, I was like, this motherfucker. And I was so glad when she broke his finger. And I was so fucking glad when she fucking hacked him the way that she did. My thing was like, when she lit the curtains on fire, like at what point was he not like, let's get out of here and fight in the snow? Like, it was just weird.
I know there's like battling the snow, battling the fire,
Yeah.
Or maybe grab a fire extinguisher and put it out for a second. This is where you live. This is where your whole community is at, and you just let it burn down.
Yeah, and that's where they ate, because you saw the sign in the background. So it's like that's where they normally eat their dinner. And also, my other question is, where the fuck was everyone? Like, what are they are they 7 houses back?
They're eating their venison. They're eating their venison somewhere.
Or people. Like that was
venison,
weird for me. because I was like, why is no one giving a fuck with that the place is on fire? And also, I was concerned why he didn't give a fuck that the place was on fire. He looked at it a couple times. He was like, "Yeah, that's happening. Yeah, that's happening."
Yeah,
But
that's
it
happening.
didn't seem like it was enough concern for the situation. You know what I mean?
I guess.
I don't know, but it was a very good. It was honestly probably my favorite episode. And
Uh,
Bella Ramsey tour de force.
it sounds like we lost Lexi. She says she can't get back on, so I don't know
I'm
what's going
sorry,
on. Sorry,
Lexi.
Lexi. Something weird's happening. And then she pops
I'm
back
gonna
in, so
do.
maybe she is
Oh,
here. Maybe
Lexi's
she
back.
is here.
I was gonna do this and do the rest of the show for you in
50-50.
honor.
Peppy popped in. He was like, I'm gonna fill in for a little bit."
Oh, happy.
Right.
Yeah, but that whole thing we were just talking about the fire, how they're fighting in the fire, and it's like you think that they maybe would have like wanted to put that fire out, but whatever.
Maybe.
There was so much happening at that time.
That
So
was so dumb. I was like, the
Right?
fire is like, he turns and he looks at it, he's like, I'm going to keep pursuing her. And I'm like, that's going to be
That's
a
what.
problem for you if you don't deal with that.
Literally, that's
You
what I
know
said. I was like, that was
that.
the one
I'm like,
weird thing that bothered me was the fire.
I was like,
yeah,
clearly you don't care about the people in your compound or your compound that you're trying to survive in or any of
Yeah,
that.
no, we're
It's
fine.
like,
well, he's already like chopping up everybody that dies and telling them, "Oh, we'll bury them in the spring," but you're actually feeding them to
He has
them.
like an
So
ensanguination room where he's draining their fucking blood. It's like, bro, like what are we doing here?
right.
That's fucking weird.
yeah, it's so weird. What a show! What a concept! But that episode really was, I think, the best. She's back. One of the best
Oh,
episode of the season. I think it was so good. It was so good. I
Yeah.
it really
mean,
was.
yeah, just the acting alone, and that you're saying it's for that moment, that heartbreaking moment they finally get together, and she's like, and he's like, "I got you, baby girl." It's
I know it's
just
so like that.
uh,
I was like, oh,
this show. Who
daddy.
knew this show was gonna be this good? Like as people were saying
Yeah.
before after episode 3, like I didn't think a zombie show was gonna make me cry. Everyone's like there's just so much emotion in every episode. So Bella though, she just killed it.
She
Just
killed it.
really did. Yeah, I just can't believe that he was
This is
feeding those
Tour de
people.
force.
This is one of those properties where I never played the game, and I'm
Me
like
neither.
glad that I didn't. Like I don't. So many things in like Hollywood, I have familiarity with. Like either I've read the book, or I played the game, or I know the show, or I'm familiar with the comic, or something stupid like that. And it's nice to every once in a while go into a property and not know anything about it, and then watch it, and then be like, I have no association with it or know anything about it, so I was actually able to enjoy that experience instead of like going, I was okay, but I couldn't stop doing this or that or any of these kind of things. Like, it's nice to just watch something and be like, I am really enjoying this. I have nothing to attach it to, and I have nothing to look back on and be like, oh, it's doing this, but it's moving
Yeah,
away from this. I'm like, I can just sit back and enjoy this show, and the writing is so good, and everything is being done so well, and I don't have to like stick anything on it or whatever. It's super nice. Because my co-host for my show, he's obsessed with the games, and he's like, well, they did this different from the game and that, whatever. And I was like, I'm glad that I don't have that knowledge. Like, I know you tell me things, but outside of that, like, I'm just like, like, I'm glad I don't know that. It makes it just much more enjoyable for me in the grand scheme of things. It's nice to have
yeah,
But
that once in a while.
I feel like even in the games, like there's like such a close parallel to the show, like that. I mean, the game must have
Yeah,
been like it almost makes you want to play it. Like if you flesh it out this well, like I feel like I almost want to play it because it's
for sure.
so like how do you
yeah,
even like I mean, I would never think of a video game being a fucking I mean Mortal Kombat's like obviously people kicking each other's asses, whatever. Like this is so emotionally deep. It's not something that I ever would, relate to a video game. So
They sure can
I
be. I mean, I've played some very deep games. That just depends on, like, the game and who makes it. And, I've cried. I've played plenty of games that made me cry. I talked about it before. I mean,
really
I have a weird. I started my transition and I started playing Cyberpunk 2077 at the start of my
oh wow.
transition, and
oh,
there's a lot of like discussions of transition in Cyberpunk, not necessarily the game, but like in that genre. There's a lot of like just that discussion. That's a
Yeah.
heavy subject, and so the game had a lot of really deep, well written dialogue, and there was a lot of really good stuff in it. And I know people are not big fans of the game or whatever, but it emotionally connected with me, and I cried a lot when I played that game, and it was a really deep connection for me. So I have like a personal connection to that game that is different for me than a lot of things. And I've had other games in the past that have been pretty well written, that I've seen some pretty deep development and stuff. There are a lot of games that you look at and you're like, this should have worked really well as a film. This could have really translated. Like Doom has all the elements to make a wonderful film, and I don't know why they can't make Doom into a movie. You know, one of the biggest problems with all of this stuff is that they keep trying so hard to tone things down to sell these movies to wider audiences. And I think when you look at making video games into movies, that you need to realize you have to make these R-rated. Like, these movies have to be violent. They have to have higher...
You have to go there.
Because games push a lot of boundaries that film doesn't. And so often the things that make the game successful are those boundary pushing things. So you have to be able to include those things into the films in order for those films to have success. So
yeah,
I think this show is doing a good job of bringing all of the elements that make this game great into the show without stepping on toes or anything.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see like how far it actually is into the game. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like there's so much content left to give, and there, whatever. I mean, I'll probably play the game eventually, maybe, but I just like the same thing you said before, to just be like a spectator for the very first time, enjoying this magical story that they have that's actually been cinematic before in a video game. They're actually able to make it, you know, on screen and capture that energy and that essence and that presence that a lot of shows can't and games can't. Like you said, Doom. Like, I can't even. Doom. I can't even. I was excited when The Rock was in Doom. Then I was like, oh god, this has happened. So
there's no reason that movie should be bad.
Yeah, but it is.
The original
Everyone.
One, yeah. I mean, like,
have two
there's
or
no
three?
reason. Yeah, they've tried a few times. There's that one that recently came out, Annihilation. It was not good either. Like, there's no reason that a Doom movie shouldn't be bad, but it also should be R-rated, and it should be an hour and a half of solid, pure, nonstop action. Like, understand your subject matter and understand, like, what you can do with that. Because, like, who doesn't want to watch an hour and a half of some of, like, the best action ever? But also, like, and violence and gore and, like, over-the-top, like, one-liners and things like that. Like, there's so much potential to just have so much fun with these things, too. Like, the same with like the Tomb Raider movies. They could have been good films. They weren't, but like there's so much potential for these things to be good, and they just don't look at the material that's presented before them. And it's the same with comic book movies. There's like up to the point that we're at now, I mean, clearly somebody has finally figured out the formula for making a good comic book movie, but when you look at like what we grew up with up until this point, I'm like, people kept fucking comic book movies up over and over and over. They still haven't figured out the formula for video game movies. Like, they think they have here and there. They keep going, oh, we figured it out. It's like, no, but you really haven't. Like, even the more recent Mortal Kombat movies, like, they're okay, but like they still are fucking up here and there.
The first one's still the best.
Right there. Yeah, honestly, like, that movie does capture the game best out of anything that has been previously made, but it also fails at capturing the violence and the gore and the things that the game makes good.
I feel like the last Mortal Kombat movie was shit.
Well,
it was shit. I agree with you. I agree with you.
The first one's the best one, I still think.
It had excellent fight sequences. So, like, even though the story and all the stuff in it was garbage, I'm like, it did have some really great fights. It really did have some good kills. So, like, it was almost there, but then it failed in the story side of it. So it's
they were good actors. Is the shitty
part. You could take the first film and combine it with the good parts of the second redo, then you'd have a good Mortal Kombat film, essentially. Because there were good things in that film, and there were good things in that film, and you just need them to be stuck together, essentially. This is not rocket science.
Well, at least they got it right with The Last of Us. I know HBO is probably going nuts, but they're probably so excited. And as you don't know, I already know there's a season 2 coming. They after like the first episode, like season 2, you know, it's just done so well, and the ratings keep going up every week for them. So I mean, kudos to them for actually spending the money and the time on this and making it right, and the character development. That's huge. Because this could be a normal zombie movie. It could be like, you know, zombies killing and that's it. And they don't really show the zombies that often. It's more about the characters. And when you do see a zombie, it's a very pivotal moment, like in the last episode where they actually got bit in the mall. very pivotal moment, but that whole episode was again a love story. There's so much love in this, and it's about the connections and the characters, and I think that's what sells it too. You talk about love and people, how they find each other, even if in an apocalyptic world, like it still exists, and I think that's what's carrying through it. People are really connecting with people, the characters, so that's what's selling.
If you tried to do this as a movie, it would be shit.
Oh yeah,
it needs as a TV show. It needs the time. It needs the length. It needs that. I think maybe they should think about doing video games as TV shows instead of trying to make them films, because most games have a 10-hour or more game runtime, right?
Yeah.
So if your games are built around long narrative story running, then maybe you should start building TV shows around it instead of trying to build films around things that are built with these long narrative structures. Like Fallout, don't try to make a movie, make a Fallout TV show. Yeah. Which would be amazing. Which, I don't know what happened to that. I know on Amazon was working on that at one point. There was supposed to be a Fallout TV show, and I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything for a while.
Yeah, that just disappeared. I was super pumped for that. I'm like, hell yeah, I'd watch that. I love Fallout.
Have to look into that again.
My favorite game series, yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into that. We'll see if we can find something about that, because I bet something has to be happening. It might just be taking a long time to develop. It might be. I mean, I don't know.
It had to have a lot of money behind it. There's no way it didn't.
Yeah. But I think overall, we're pretty excited about this show, The Last of Us. I know I am. I know it's a great show, everybody. If you haven't checked it out, you need to check it out, because it's so much fun. And like I said, it's the characters. Really, if it wasn't for the characters, and like Lexi's saying, if you didn't have this long narrative, I don't think it would flow as well. Try cramming this whole game into an hour and a half, and this whole story into an hour and a half. I mean, you just have again them killing zombies, and then that's they get where they're going to be. So, kudos to HBO for doing this right, I would say. Anyways, everybody, Lexi, thank you for being here so much. Appreciate you being here tonight. It's always great talking to you. It's okay. No, it worked out. You came back.
Yeah, we did. We did a pop in, pop out. It's all good. Yeah. You nailed it.
Yeah. Sabrina, thank you for being here as always.
To me all the time. Of course.
Happy Wednesday. Peppy, thank you for being here. Doing a little pop in.
Oh, Peppy, you cute little fucker.
He wanted to come on the show tonight. He was telling me I want in. Everybody, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you can. Join our Patreon. We love you all for being there. We appreciate you all. Hope you have a very fantastic rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you here again soon. Have a good night. Thank you again, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.